Okay, so as the title says, we're gonna be making some lo-fi house like chords and pad type sounds. I'm gonna start out here by dragging in Ableton Analog, and I'm gonna draw some chords, and then I'll explain to you what's going on with that. So we're just gonna do this, and then we'll make it this long. The keyboard shortcuts I'm using are you just hold down Shift, and then press left and right to make it long or short, or longer or shorter. And then that was just Control D or Command D if you're on a Mac. And I'm moving it down. So I've drawn in an F major 7, and a C major 7. And this is something I want to start with. In general, with this style of music, you want to use these kind of like jazzy chords, because this type of music is very much like referencing sort of like old tropes of like older house music from the 90s, and the 80s, and I guess even the 2000s. But yeah, that was like a big thing back then, was like sampling jazz or like playing these kinds of chords on synths and organs and stuff. And yeah, so these sort of like jazzy chords, like in this case, major 7th chords. Oh, whoops. Or if I make this minor 7, these minor 7th chords, or 9th chords, or like major 9th, I believe this is, are very big. So you want to just sort of do those, and you can find a lot of information out there. But really, the way you do those is you just start with your like root. This is the F major triad, and then I add that note over top of it, which makes it an F major 7. And then similar here with the C major 7. So now that I've covered that, yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. A good example of those kind of jazzy chords is like Crystal Waters' Gypsy Woman. They use a lot in there. I think it's like 9th chords or whatever. I don't know. I don't really know music theory that well, but you don't really need to do this kind of stuff because it's pretty straightforward once you know what you're doing. So anyway, we're just gonna get into like the synth patch. I'm gonna start out, and right off the bat, I'm gonna turn off oscillator 2. I'm gonna keep oscillator 1 set the way it is. I'm gonna turn on this noise and turn up the color all the way. Turn the volume down to like maybe there. Okay, about like minus 26 dB on the noise. And then I'm gonna go into this amp here. You just click on each tab to pull it up here. I'm going to pull the sustain decay up to there. Just full on sustain and decay. It doesn't really matter once you have the sustain up all the way. And then I just turn the release down to the lowest setting. So now we get this. So since we're trying to make this kind of like a paddy sound, it really helps to just have the sustain and decay up all the way and then the release like that. So after that is where we're going to start playing with the filter. And this is really where you get this kind of sound. Well, one of like a few things, but yeah. So we're going to turn the resonance up maybe to there. I have to hear it to see for real where I'm going to put it. But this is important. On analog, the envelope comes preset to like this. I think like 4, whatever that is within this scale. So you just want to set that to 0. So I just clicked on it and typed 0. And then that means that there's going to be no envelope, so the filter just stays static where it is. I know the frequency for the kind of sound I want is like around there. And we're just leaving it on the default low pass 24 dB of attenuation per octave or whatever. But yeah, so that sounds like this. And I'm just going to dial in the knobs a little. Okay, so yeah. About like that is good. I actually put this down an octave. Let me do that in the MIDI actually. I'm just hitting Control A to select all, or Command A if you're on a Mac, and then Shift and down to move it down an octave. Because I figured that sounded a little better on an octave down. But anyway, so we have this, and you can see it's sounding pretty warm. And this is where we can start experimenting with like different filter settings, like this 12 dB. You can get some interesting stuff. It's just letting through more frequencies. But I'm gonna keep it on 24 dB. And what you'll notice here is when I move that filter around, you can hear it gets like really juicy sounding. And you can hear when I get to like the lower registers of it too, it starts to you hear the resonance coming through. Like it's very warm, but there's like a little bit of a tone over it. So that's mostly what we're gonna do in the synth. I am gonna use this vibrato here. I'm just gonna put it up to like there maybe, and turn the rate down. So that sounds like this. And that's just helping to sort of further the lo-fi sound. You know, make it sound like it's on like a tape because it's drifting around. So after that, I'm going to go into audio effects because we're pretty much done with the synth. And I am just going to go ahead and add a saturator, doing a bit warmer. Which sounds like this. And you can hear now it's starting to get really like crunchy and nice. And that's good. After that, this is the part where it sort of becomes about experimenting a little bit, excuse me. Because we pretty much have our sound. And it sounds nice and lo-fi, and it's, you know, it's cool. But you can add a few things. You know, you can put on a vinyl distortion, get some of the crackle in there. You can do like a bit of reverb before the distortion. That definitely sounds good. You can put on some delay too. A good trick is there's this limiter preset in here called Fast, I believe is the one. I'm pretty sure that's it. It might be this. No, it's this one called Push. Yeah. And what that is doing, you put like 3 or so of those on there, and that gets it sounding like really lo-fi. I gotta turn the gain down a little bit though. So you can hear that's like just really squashing it, and it like really feels like you're listening to like an old tape or something. So this is pretty much the sound. There's a few more things that you can do if you really want to like go wild, I guess. You can do like cool little automations. Like I noticed when I was testing this, if you turn up the vibrato at the end of every 2 bars, that can sound cool. And maybe like also automate the speed to go up faster. You know, you can do like cool stuff like that. It's really about like thinking outside of the box. When you get past like the point of just making the simple basic sound, because like, you know, it's kind of straightforward to make a sound like this, but doing interesting stuff like that vibrato automation, for example, is like what kind of sets you apart when you're making these tracks, and like what makes it more than just a simple sound. So yeah, anyway, this project file and MIDI and preset is going to be in the description. You can download it for free. And yeah, I really appreciate the support, everybody. It's been great. The past couple days, I got like 200 subscribers, which was very cool. um, but yeah, so just I guess like and subscribe this video, share it, leave a comment. Check out my sample packs as well, House Music Volume 1 and 2. They're in the description on my Bandcamp. And you can just get them for $5 a piece. They got a bunch of sounds in them. If you're a new producer, they got a lot of stuff to work with, to sort of like learn. If you're more seasoned, you can use them as well. They just got some great sounds in them to work with. And yeah, have a great day.